Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. I want to run you through a signature pocket page. It's what I call them. I don't know, they might have another name. What I like to do, if you've been following me for any length of time, I like to use manila folders for so many things. They're just so versatile, and because they're larger, I can get bigger things out of them. So this is what I call my signature pocket page. So what it actually is, so here's a signature in the making, which will be, most of mine I tend to decorate and then sew in. So this will go into a book ready to go. But when I'm doing my signatures, so I've got book pages, coffee dyed paper, packing paper, different sizes. This will end up being a pocket in here. I'll have doilies, more coffee dyed paper, more packaging, different sizes, different shapes, etc. What I like to do in them occasionally as well, so that's the middle of my signature. So I'll just pull out a piece somewhere here, about there, so I'm just going to set that aside so that I've got a new centre, is what this is. So it's a signature pocket page. It's got its flap here, which goes into my centerpiece here, which will mean my others go in. And when it's folded, I've got this. Make sense? So the opposite side, if I can now find the opposite side, is ready to have an attachment onto it. So I can just put clusters on it. I can turn that into a pocket. Let's just pull out the signature that I'm already working on. So like I've got a bag, right? So it's just a normal paper bag, but the opposite side, turn that over, where it has that little piece as well, I've turned into a pocket. I've popped a bookmark in and put a little bit of a cluster on the front. So I can either adhere another page to it or just do it as a small flip on that side. That's what I like to do. I'll put you back over there with that. That's what I like to do with these, so that they just give some interest in my journals. So that for me, I like them a lot of the times, not all the time. Sometimes I'll make journals where every page is the same, but a lot of the time I like different sizes, different shapes, things like that in my journals. For me, it just adds a little bit more dimension, interest, surprise, I suppose, as you turn pages. So that's what this one is. So when you're turning it over, here's this one. So we've got a pocket in here. Now all this has been done out of the manila folder again. So this pocket could put some postcards in. You could pop a journal card in. You could pop anything you like in a large pocket down the side. The front has a bookmark in here, which goes down the front of that section. This one I've got a little tuck. I lift it up, hoping you can see all that, and then I've got another tag down here. If I turn it over, I've then got a double slotted pocket as well. But I tend to do them all up and then pop them into my journal. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'll pull that out so I can show you as they're done. It's really quick and easy. It's another great way to use manila folders. As I said before, I love them. Absolutely love manila folders because they're larger. So for me to get this out to fit most of my journals, it's not going to fit on A4. To be able to do it, it won't fit on A4. Well, the way I do it. So this is, and yes, you'll find manila folders, some shorter, some larger. This one, hang on, I'll get rid of that because I need my bigger ruler. This one is about 14 inches or 35.5 centimetres. Whereas your normal A4 is what? About that, I think. So see how I'm missing all this section if I've used an A4. So today what we're going to do is make that. I've printed out a pile of grungier looking digitals, just so that I've got them there, and I'll do a grungy one. I've done a pretty one, Now we'll do a grungy one. Right, first things first. So here's your normal straight manila folder. What we need to do with that, I like to have a 2-inch wide flap. You can make it smaller if you want, but I like a 2-inch wide flap, which gives me room to sew in my signature and something to hold on to on the other side. So just from this end, okay, so I find this side quite often has lines or the little bits in here. You know how they have that section? So 2 inches, that's my reasoning anyway. It's probably not. Why? I just tend to start on this side, let's be honest. Right, so rule along there at 2 inches. All of this is going to be scored. So what I'm doing now is just pencil marking where everything will be scored. Okay, so that's a score line. And I want this one, I've used the entire length of my manila folder to give me enough height in here. So this end, I just want about 1/4 of an inch. I always say seam allowance. It's not seam allowance. So I'm just going to mark 1/4 of an inch down there. That will be scored. Okay, so that's a score line. That's a score line. And then if this folds over, so if this one's scored, we're then going to fold this up to here. Make sense? So let's just score that. So it's literally just a 1/4 inch score. So I'm just going to sit that in there. Run that down that. That one's nicely scored. Fold that over there. Give that a crease. And then I want this one to come up and match up to here. If your manila folder is a little bit wonky, don't worry. So all I want at this stage is my folded section to meet in with that. Give that a crease, push it down. If you want to mark and measure, by all means, mark and measure it. I tend to just fold. Okay, here's my center line now. I can chop that bit out. So I'm just going up to my pencil line, which would have been my score line. Okay, this bit, I'll sit you on here. You can see that I'm okay, there's my score line for my flap. There's no great rhyme nor reason to it. Look at that. Right, there's my flap, which will go on the other side of my signature. This side needs its seam allowance as well. You can tell I was a sewer in an old life. So this just needs to be about 1/4 of an inch as well. That's that one, which will be my fold. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut straight down there for my seam allowance. So, sitting you on there, turning it that way so I can actually see what I'm doing. How's that? Again, you can mark and measure. I'm just going by eye, round about 1/4 of an inch. And if I can find my knife, how about I put a mat under that? There's not going to be much left of my blade if I don't. There we go. As you were. Right. Right, so technically, that's our pocket page. We have a fold here, which is going to be our signature. We have this one here. I'm going to trim off our corner to make a nice mitre. That's that one. This one needs folding up. And we can give that a good crease as well. Okay. Right, there is your manila folder. This will be adhered. This will be adhered. This is your pocket. It's at this stage you need to work out what width you've got your... When I'm looking for my signatures, here we go. Right, so my signatures fit into this book. Okay, so I really don't want it to go past here. I can do it shorter. I don't want it to go past there. So you can see I like to have different widths in there. This would be my final point. It needs to be shorter than that. So as you can see at the moment, if that went in, it's way longer. So we need to chop some off. So just look at your signatures. My highest is about my highest. You know what I mean. My widest is just under, so it's about 6 1/8. So if I chop this at about 6 inches, I know that it will fit into my my journal that I'm currently creating. So let's just make a mark at 6. Down here, make a mark at 6. And we'll trim that off. I've got 3 rulers here now and keep picking up the wrong size. You can put that in your trimmer. You can do it with scissors, blade, if you feel comfortable with your blade. Right. That's now what we've got. It'll be adhered along here and adhered along there. I've just get that sharp edge, sorry, off my thumbnail. That's all it is. How easy is that? I like to have, so where's my original? I like to have an opening. Now you can make this opening any length, width that you like. If you've got a die or a shape, an oval plate, anything you like. It can be a circle, it can be an oval. What I tend to use, bear with me, in my dies, I have some nested ovals, as they're called. So, these. Now, they're nowhere near big enough. Nowhere near big enough, but they give me the size, the shape, sorry, because ovals are a bit harder than circles. Circles are, everything is circles. Your double-sided tape, your glues, anything that you look around and see is a circle sitting on your desk. Ovals are a little bit harder. This is the one I want to make my mark in. Here I've got an oval. So if I sit that there so that I'm roundabout, centered, I want the little ruler again now. Let's have a look. 1 1/4, 1 1/4. Well, that's just freaky sometimes, isn't it? Do I want it that wide? Do I maybe want it narrower this time? One and a half. 1 1/2. Let's go from there. Right, technically that would be my oval. I want that slightly wider. I want it to come out further. So I'm going to take it out. What have I got? 1, 2, 7/8 of an inch. What's that? 1.5 centimetres. How's that? It's that one. And I'm just going to follow along here. I don't want it to go further in from there. So I'm just going to, just light strokes. You don't want to do, where's a piece of scrap? We all tend to make the mistake of when we're drawing a line, we go really hard, and because we think if we go harder and break our pencil, we're going to get a better line. Not necessarily. So do it in little feather strokes. Okay, so we're coming back out to here again. Here. I wanted out there, didn't I? Gonna say. Right, so we just see how I'm going backwards and forwards. It allows me to smooth it out as I go. So I'm going from this side. So I've technically kept my oval. And most of the time, that's what I do with them. Now, if you're worried that you can't rub it out and you want to leave it plain, do this on the inside piece. I'm just going to cover this with paper this time. My last one, this one that I was showing you, was done with a huge stamp. So it was a stamp. If you saw me a couple of months ago, I got a collection from Crafted by Callie on Etsy, and this stamp was there, but it fits these beautifully. So I tend to use it all the time for bigger pieces like that. Right, so I'm just smoothing out my oval. Right, and then I'll just cut that out with my scissors. And I'm just going to use bigger scissors because it's easier to cut circles and ovals with bigger scissors, because I don't have to keep opening the blade as much. It's not going to be perfect. I know it's not going to be perfect, but that's why I ink. All right, so rub out my pencil lines, and because I've only done fairly light pencil lines, they will rub out beautifully. I've got one big wonk in there that even ink's not going to cover. Right, okay. So now this is what I've got. I'm going to put something on there, but I'm going to cover it first. I want to pop something in here before I attach all this down. I'm going to move that. I'll put it back away later on, I promise. And I'm going to move that one, the big one, to give me a little bit more room. Right. Move that, and we're just going to use what we need now. So, first things first, I'm going to put a strip of something in here. We'll pull out these grungies. I don't know which ones I'm going to use. This is going to go up that way in my... So this might be a nice one for on here, but don't lose too much of those words. Yeah, I'm thinking I want that one on the front. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. This is really nice. And that's really nice. Either of those, it's a bit lighter, they can go on the back. They can go on the back. Oh, look, I printed that out twice. I knew I liked that one. I think these ones are from Artsology, and it was in her mystery bundle of 100. They're great because you find all sorts of bits and pieces, and probably things that you wouldn't normally purchase or buy or use, but because they're there, you find that you use them. So, right, I'm thinking, let's have a look. We'll just sit that one in there. I like that. I quite like that. Right, so we want a piece of this. We need it to cover. It doesn't need to go all the way in. You want it so that you can, you know, when you look in there, it's going to come down a bit, but there's no way you need to cover all of that inside. So if we go to about 3.5, and I'll just trim that, I like that side, at about 3.5. So where are we? 3.5 is there. All right. And I like this grunginess. So this is just going to sit in here on that, like so. All right? Just like that. I'm going to do all of it, and then I'm going to trim off this section. So we're going to glue this bit. Just get my glue sheets out. I've moved my glue to the other side because it was easier, and now I can't find it. Back to my blue glue this time. I ran out of my Yoo-Hoo the other day, so I had more of these ones in the drawer. They don't need to go all the way because I know I'm not using that last bit. So I want to go just inside. See where my fold is? I want to go just inside my fold, which is about there. Running that along that one. Smoothing that down. Got to watch this. I've obviously got something. I've got paint on there is what I've got, and it's catching it. Right. So I'll trim that off. And I find my big scissors, and I'll wipe that bit first. So I don't get my scissors too gunky. Right. So what I've now got is that. Okay. And then what I'm wanting is that one on the top of that. And I'm going to do that before I stick it down, because then again I can trim in here. So this time what I'm going to do is going to glue all of this so that I can match this to it. And then I can trim all the excess off, because I want that wording up there. So if I actually adhere that down there, my wording is fairly close to the top. A horrible feeling that wording's actually crooked. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. I'm just going to tuck all these bits in so that while I'm gluing these bits, they're not being touched. And I'm going to put a little bit of excess with my normal white glue around the edges, just so that I know it's holding it nicely. And then I'll run the glue stick through the inside. Now it's cold here, so my glue shouldn't dry too quickly. It's so cold here. Down there and following there, probably as close as you can to the edge. See, I've got ink all over this because I've got ink everywhere. Right. And now with my glue stick, just going to rub trying not to get it on and mix it in with the white glue. Does that make sense? Look, it probably doesn't make any difference. That's a me thing. You know, never the twain shall meet and all the rest. So if you do, don't worry about it. That's just me. Me being me. Right, so I want to match up this to this bottom piece. Close as I can to the edges. No, not there. Think about it, Kylie. I'm going that way, aren't I? It's just, we tend to put our pockets up the top each time, and it's just automatic, isn't it? Right. I'm going to fold that back out and find my little squeegee on all ends. That was a good save. Right. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to. Okay. Right. So now I'm just going to cut around my oval again as best I can. I'm actually thinking I might do that better with my knife and do it freehand and just lightly follow around my cut piece. Again, use your scissors if you're a scissor person. It's what you feel more comfortable with. I tend to use my knife for most things. Right. And now we need to trim off these bits. Leave that folded under. Down to there. Don't cut in to your fold. If you want to, use your scissors. You've probably got more control with your scissors because you can see if you're cutting into the folded section. And down there. Right. Let's see what we've got when we turn it over. I've got a bit where I caught it, but that's looking not too bad actually. Right, so bear with me. Brushed corduroy. Get rid of the bits that we've mucked up or cut into, or it's not quite straight and it's a little bit wonky. And what it does is it hides all of those. And I think that's why I like ink the most. I don't have to feel that I need to be perfect because ink will cover so many, I don't know, dodgy bits that I know that for me, I would keep going back and looking at and going, oh, I don't know if I'm really comfortable with that bit. So it soothes my mind. Right. Move that back out. That can be stuck on there. And that can now be stuck down. So. Matching up as best you can. And I'm just going to pop some little clips on that just to hold it while we're working on our other pocket. I wonder if that one will fit in there. Just so that that'll hold it down. I'll get another one of those ones. Okay, just while our glue dries, won't take long. Now, my little pocket on the front. There. Which is going to sit in here. So like this little pocket in here. Again, it's the other side of the manila folder. So I tend to do this about 3 inches wide. Okay, which means I need a piece that's 3.5 inches wide. Because I want this as a full-size pocket, I've again given that little folded area to tuck into. So, I've cut one already. All right, so here we go. Piece of manila folder, just the other side of that one. So we're looking at 3.5, and it is the full length of that manila folder again, which was, what did we say he was? 14 inches, roundabout, or 35.5 centimetres. Now, what I want is a 1/4 inch seam down here for the bottom section. I'm just going to move that to the side while we're working on this one. We will need to score down here. Might turn that way so you can see that I use old manila folders. This is going to fold like so. I know that this one is the same height as this one. No, I've grabbed a different manila folder. So depending on the manila folder that you're using will depend on the size of it. So this is going to go here. You can see I'm just lightly folding this at this stage. I want it to overlap a little bit. I want my pocket in there. Just sitting it down there. And you don't want it higher than that. That's going to be round about where it needs to be. So, lining those up, giving that a crease, lining that one up. So I can see that I'm about 1/4 of an inch from the top, 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Just lining it up, giving it a crease. Now I'll give them a good push with my bone folder. I've got 3, I think, sitting on my desk, so we'll grab this one this time. Like so. Okay. Now, this one will have my seam allowance. Shouldn't call them a seam allowance. My folded area. It's going to have a name. So, down here, I'm going to do a fold. Let's just see if we can peel that off. Right, so this one's going to have our folded section. These ones are all then going to be trimmed. So it's just this bit down here that I want to score at 1/4 of an inch. So if I sit this in here, find the one that fits in this one. So 1/4 of an inch, just up to that fold line, and the same with this one, like so. Okay, sit you back there. This will be trimmed off here, and the rest of this I'm going to follow with my ruler and cut that off. What I like to do to make sure that I've got it done correctly is I will trim this bit now with that. I sit that here and here, run this along my grid. You know I always use my grid. Alright, here and here, so I'm just going to that folded line. Just going to the folded line. Okay, and this can be folded in. Push down. This can be folded in. Push down. We want that straight. That's not looking straight. That's got a wonk in it. It's got a wonk. All right. So sitting that on there, putting it straight on your grid. And then what I can do is run my ruler up the side of my fold. It's my heater kicking in again. And I will trim off the rest. Go slow if you're using your blade. You'll feel if it starts to hit the folded section. Turning it round, I'm a righty, so I need to turn it round. And doing the same thing. Nope, I can do it that way, so that I can actually get it down here and see what I'm doing without sticking my head right under the camera. Am I even? Right. So there's my folded line. I can see that there. Put my ruler against that. This one's got the wonk in it. Yep. It's got a bigger wonk in it now. Okay. Yep. Lovely dovely. Right, I want to give this bit a slight difference. So with my original one here, see this? What I've used is a punch. But it's a large punch, and I realise a lot of people won't have a large punch. So just look at your border punches. We don't use them a great deal. Maybe we should use them more. That's what that one is, but as I said, it is a bigger one. So lots of people are not going to have a large border punch. But it doesn't have to be a large one. So let's just pull out one of our others. Hang on a moment. I've got them sitting beside me because I do use mine. That one's a smaller one. Or what else could be used? Let's have a look. Sorry, I should have had this sorted before, shouldn't I? All right, now these are EK Success ones. I've got Martha Stewart ones and I've got EK Success ones in there. I find the EK Success ones punch easier through heavier weight, but this is a fairly thin weight manila folder anyway, so it's not going to make much difference. What do you reckon? That one or that one? I've done floral. Let's do that. And it was going to be grungy anyway, so unlock that. Now, see this? It's a little bit narrower. So I'm going to join it so that it goes all the way across. With that one, I only wanted the one flower and I had to actually then trim a little bit. So this one's not going to make that much difference and it's going to go down like so. So I'm just going to sit it in and match it up as I go. I want it half on one of those maybe. Let's have a look. And now I'm going to match it up so that, see how it's got, I'm assuming I'm right there, right. So see how they've got shiny silver and then the plain grey of that. To match this up so that you follow your border, slide it along so that your pattern only shows the shiny. Can we see that? I like to do them in front of me. So I'm just going to move that along. If you match that up perfectly, border punches are one of those things that you can't rush. So match it up perfectly and it should then give you a continuous one along without showing where you've matched them. Right? It's always one of the things I've always told people when I'm teaching classes, never ever rush border punches. I'll sit that over there. Doing that. Right. So this is here, that's there, like so. So to make that stand out a little bit more, I'll just move it there and use that one, Kylie. All I'm going to do is just very lightly put a little bit of ink on there. So that it stands out a little bit better. Okay, I'm still going to cover it anyway. Just wipe that. The other reason why I cover everything is because I've always got ink that I'm putting things down on. So we're going to need a little bit of paper in here, something in here, and something on there. I don't need anything on the back because the back, I can undo that now, can't I? Because the back will be adhered onto that. So here's this one, here's our pocket, and this one will go down there like so. Now I can move this anywhere I like, and I could have the pocket going through there again if I like, but I've already got this one, so I'm going to put one in the top. So we'll just find some paper, we'll put a little piece in here. Let's have a look at the bits that we've already done. Preferably not in there, but it could go in that bit. What other ones do we have? I've got that yellow, that's quite nice, and that will still pick up that. Got the tops of that. That one again. and that yellow. So we might use those ones. I want a bit down here. Right, that grungy bit there's not too bad. So I'm just checking things out at the moment. Yep. And then that lighter one on the inside. How's that? Works for me. So again, we don't need to go all the way down. So I just want a piece that's probably about 3 inches. Got to admit, 3 inches works well. Let's actually use that bit. Just for a little bit of difference. Find what you like on your digitals if you're using digitals. This one down. What am I on? The ruler, of course. Going that way. And I want most of my writing, so I want something a bit different up here. But I want to be able to see that writing when I undo it. So I'll have something else going on up there. Can't find it. There it is. So and the problem with a bigger desk, or to clean up your desk, is you then have too much space and things get moved around. Whereas if I just kept my desk really messy all the time, I'd only have this space and I'd know where everything was. That makes sense? Right. That's that one. And I'm going to stick that on first so that then I'm going to stick my front cover on that, ink the top of it, and then I can adhere that down. So what did I say I wanted for that one? Those. Yeah, I like that on there. It all just matches in beautifully. And again, I don't actually think I would use the squirrels. They're not me. They're truly not me. I'm just going to make sure I've got at least 3 inches there. That'll go on here like so. Right, glue this one. Oh, I just read what that is. We might need to move that. Right. Oh, I like that grungy bit up the top, actually. Don't want that back bit. I'll trim all that. And those ones. Oh, that's so wonky, that seam. Right, and once again, before we adhere it, we will trim those so that they make those little V's, which means that when it folds in, you don't run the risk of it doing that. So it'll just sit in there a little bit better. That's all it needs, just a little bit like so. Let's go this way, shall we? Right. That'll go up there. That'll go up there. I'm just going to run a little bit of ink across the top, and then I can adhere this bit down. Which gives me then, because I've got these little gusset bits in there, it gives me that full 3 inches as a pocket. Whereas if I just folded them up and used my glue, it narrows the whole thing up. So to get the most out of that size, we put in these little pockets. We put them in with the little seams. Right. So there's that one. This one we're going to do the same, and I'm going to use that nice grungy. I love that. And that will all work down there. But I'm going to just take it to there. Technically, I could have put it on and then punched this out. For me, I like the difference, and what I'm going to actually do now that I can see where I want to take it to, is just ink a little bit more of that cream up away from those, just so that that entire pattern is browned. Let's grunge it up a little bit, just so that, because I'm using those grungy papers, so I've picked up my blending brush that has gathered twigs. They all just sit there. There's always some ink still left on them. I never wash those ones. They just stay in that style, with those ones on all the time. So that's, see how it's now darkened it up to give us some of these smudges as well, so that when this is on, I'm going to have that. I'm going to take him right down, thinking, right down to where those actually start. So that'll be about there. I'll trim that off too. You can see sometimes I pick up my trimmer, other times I just tear it. It's just me. Sorry. Right. Set you on that side. You are going to go there. I want you right down there. So I'm just going to take off that section as well, so that I can glue that. Now, this is going down here. I'm just going to ink this edge, because I can't ink it once it's actually adhered onto that manila folder. So a little bit there. Glue is going frozen. Come on, it's not that cold in here, Kylie. Right. Just bring the wuss. That's my inked edge. I'm folding that over so that I don't run the glue down there. And I know I've got this a little bit wider than this, so that I can just match it up and not have to worry about it going slightly crooked and not covering further up here, because I can just trim all that off. All right. That one. And then all we've got is the little one on the inside. and this can be adhered to our signature page. So I'm liking that. Quite liking the grunginess. Right, I'm going to go again with this yellow up here. What I want though is I like my folds to look dirty, I suppose would be the word. Or do I want some more of that? I really like that. I really like that. See, now this is not a paper that I would purchase and use, because I would have just been polarised by the, oh look, I've got some of that left. I would have been polarised by the squirrels. Not enough. Let's have a look. Ah, I had that one printed out as well, didn't I? Got this one. So maybe I go the lighter colour of that one. Yep, I'm thinking I might do that. Go the lighter colour of that so that when it opens, it looks the same as that one. So, just going to tear off about 3 inches, which will take me to round about there. That, of course, that ruler's not going to be long enough, so we'll just flick rulers over. Just heard my front door. It's either a burglar or it's my daughter coming home. It's gone quiet, so I'd say it's my daughter coming home. I had the house to myself, you see. So it's nice when everyone comes home. She's been very quiet. Did you want to say hello? That's a no? Okay. All right. She's got uni exams this week, so wherever she goes, she takes her laptop with her so that she's studying as she goes. Yeah, I think we'll go that side, and we'll just put my edge on here. All right. This one's going. See how I folded it back so that I can glue that on here again, and I'll just take off the excess so that I can glue, and we'll do that one. Okay. That's my inked edge. You can just see that it's inked, that's all. All right, so I need to ink that, don't I? The inside of that, I didn't do it, just to grunge it up, but we can do that now. See how I'm not pushing too far up there, because I'm just making sure I've got that bit. Now I'll give that. Trim that one first, and then I can push it down nicely. And then I get that nice, I should have grunged that one as well. Let's have a look. Push that down. All right. Oh, because I see, look at that. Nearly finished, and we've been so quick. And then I've just looked at the time. Where did that time go? Oh, my word. Oh, where did that time go? That's sad. Hold you back in. Right, give you a good push. Very quickly, better do this, and then I can adhere this onto this page. Doesn't look like we will be decorating, but you've seen my other one to see how they're decorated. I quite like these because I'll have them, and I'll show you in a minute, I'll have the manila folders pre-scored, pre-cut, and all the rest, and then I can pick them up when I've got, you know, no mojo type thing. And so that you can just sit there and play around if you want, and I can still be working on journals. That needs to be re-adhered. I've just knocked that out. Right. Just going to put a little bit in there. Do you know what I should have done? Let's put the lid back on the glue. Awesome. On there, that one's right, that side's right. Where's my little ones? Here. Why can I never undo these? Alright. That'll just hold that section down. Right, so this one is going to adhere onto there. See how easy that was? Just while that's gluing, we'll very quickly cover my next page on the back. So we haven't used this one. We'll use this one because it's the opposite side anyway. And once again, I'll use my white glue around the edges. And then we better call it a day. How sad's that? Oh my word, the time just flies. It's how you lose hours, days, weeks in your craft room. I don't know. So I was going to get so much achieved yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday for us, which means today's Sunday. Strange that. And I spent the entire day at my well, up until about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So from 8 o'clock in the morning, apart from getting up occasionally and going and doing another load of washing, that sort of thing, unpacking dishwashers. But I had the house to myself, went out for about an hour and did some groceries, very few groceries, so I could come back. And I cannot say that I achieved anything yesterday. Making sure we're the right way round, because I want that grunge on this section. Like so. Oh, I really love these papers. Give that a good push on my edges. Trimming that down now. So here and out. All I'm doing is pushing my blade against where that fold is to make sure that my ruler is right against that. And down here. And there's a little bit up the top. Right. Oh yeah, like that. Alright, this one will be dry. We'll adhere this one on now. I'll put the lid on that glue and we'll have to call it a day. That's sad. Oh, I was enjoying everybody's company. Thank you for joining me today. It's nice to sit down and craft with people, whether it's, you know, through the mysteries of YouTube or whatever else. So thank you for that. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I love doing this. I love talking to you all. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Comment. I do get back sometimes. This week I've been a bit slack. I haven't answered any comments. I don't think this week. I've got to get back onto them. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you shortly with the next one. I've actually got an unboxing to do this week from Your Creative Studio. That arrived the other day and it's killing me. I so want to undo it. Just take a sneak peek, but I haven't. My daughter's not let me. So that will be coming up. I may even film that again today and then upload it in a couple of days. Right, so I just want this. I want it more over to the centre this time. Dropping that in. Pushing that down. Right, and then it's just a matter of decorating what you want on the front. So I'll set that aside. Here's the one that I had done for this other journal. So as I said, I've then put a little corner tuck in here so that I could put a pocket, or a little corner pocket so I could put a tuck. Blah. I've got, you could put as much or as little as you like. You could have another one going in here with another little pocket. I've got the bookmark up the top here. I've got that one, like, I like the size of that oval better than this oval. I think I went overboard with that one. On the back, it's covered like we've got here. Those ones have been cut to size and then given a border around. And then I've just got 2 more sheets. And all you're doing with these ones, let's say you want that size. That's the same sheet, isn't it? Oh, they're very close. Very close. All right. Let's say we've got that one. All you're going to do to make these pockets, very quickly, I'll just use my trimmer. And I'm just going to trim off. No rhyme, no reason. Right. So, that's a fairly good size. I'll trim a bit off the bottom. Right, so I've just got a piece that would fit in here. I cut 2 of them the same size. And then what I'll do is I'll just sit it in my trimmer, find an angle I like, and trim that bit off. Okay. Simple as that. Adhere it down here, here, and here. And it's there. If you want to do the double one, you'll just do exactly the same thing. All right. So I'm just going to trim that at the same size. I'm just going to sit that in there. At that one. I don't know if you can see me now, but all I'm doing is trimming that at the same size. So it's the same width. All right, same width. Take it up to that so that you end up with the same angle. Slide it into your trimmer or your knife, your scissors, etc. Trim down the same line, and then what you've got is that one. Yeah, that's right. Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. Adhere that one around there and that one around there, and then you've got your double pocket on the back. Nice and easy. Hope you've enjoyed these. Hope you have lots of fun making them. I love seeing what others have made with them. Occasionally I'll see them in different Facebook groups where they've come up. So thank you, Vicky. Thank you. And yeah, thanks for joining me. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye, guys.